So here's the start to something beautiful. Here I have my goat. Goat can be very fatty, so what I did is I cleaned it really well. This is about a pound, a little over a pound, pound and a half. This is going to be just small, like for 3 people. So I washed it really well. I cleaned it with vinegar. Goat is very fatty, so you want to make sure you try to get out as much grease as you can. But it's so good. So what I did with the goat, I just seasoned it with salt and pepper. I have my vegetables here. This is basically what is going to flavor your stew. This is called seco de chivo. This is everything you really need for the seco de chivo. It's just such a tasty dish. I have an onion and a half. All you need is to chop it roughly because you put it in the food processor or in the blender. I have an onion and a half. I have my pepper. I have my tomato. And I have cilantro. You use a lot of cilantro for this dish. I find that the cilantro is what gives it the flavor a lot. So right here I've got a bunch of cilantro, and I will add more towards the end chopped up. Then here, this is a very key ingredient. You can get this at a lot of Spanish restaurants. It's called ají peruano. Doesn't matter the brand, but that's ají peruano. You only need about 1 tablespoon. That's it. Don't go crazy with that because that has a very pungent flavor and it will ruin your stew. So just 1 tablespoon of this. And here I've got a whole beer. Remember, I call this guy also Drunken Goat because we cook it with beer. You don't need water, just 1 big beer, which is actually 22 full ounces. Or you could go for even 26, 32 ounces if you had more goat. So here we're about to blend everything together and start the process of making this delicious stew, goat stew, which is seco de chivo, Ecua style. So here you go. I've added some beer in here already. Just add the vegetables. You're going to blend everything up in here. It's a party going on in there. Yeah. So you see everything is incorporating well. I add more beer. Great. So what I want to make sure that it gets really puree. Here's my tablespoon. You actually use a little less than a tablespoon. I add it right in there. A little bit of kosher salt. And the rest of my beer. The beer is giving it that love. So you see now what I want is I want to make it a puree. I want those juices to be so pureed, you see? Because this is actually going to cook down. And this is going to be the delicious sauce that goes along with our goat. It's just, the beer complements it so well. It's such a good dish. And you don't even taste that it's gamey. That's what I love about this dish. Many people do it differently. This is my style. To me, it's the best. But that's just me. But it's so good. It's such a tasty dish. Goat stew. What I'm also going to add is about a tablespoon of this thing called frijol. Frijol is a food coloring. Because I definitely want some color in this food. I could use achote oil on this, but I actually ran out of my achote oil. And I don't want to add any more oil. So I'm using the food powder frijol. It's a condiment to make your foods red. So I put about a 1/4 teaspoon. It's pretty much puree the way that I want it. So you go to your stove now. And here's my goat just waiting for the love. And that's it. You just pour it. See that? You just pour it in. And then you start cooking it. And then soon you will see the love working. You see? It looks like nothing, right? It looks like, what's going on in there? You mix it up a little bit. Once it starts cooking, it changes color too. It's going to turn into a beautiful brown gravy. If you feel you need a little more color, then you add another 1/4 teaspoon of the food coloring. You don't need adobo in this. You don't need the Puerto Rican sofrito. Basically, everything I show you, that's the way you do it. Now we're going to boil it. We're going to cook it. Depends on the goat. Sometimes it might take an hour. Sometimes even 3 I've cooked goat. But it depends on the goat, how old it was. This goat didn't feel as old. It felt kind of tender. So I'm thinking it will be an hour. Oh, this kitchen smells so good. I just want to show you. See, it's boiling. You see that? This is how it's looking after an hour. You see that delicious syrup? Look at that. Oh my gosh. So now this goat is a little hard, so it's going to take another half hour. But you see? Oh man. So basically, you just follow the instructions and then you let it be. You just let it simmer on the stove. And I like to cook it a little bit high. And see that liquid? All I did was add a 1/4 cup more water. That's it. But I don't need any other water. I just want a little more wetness in here. And look at that. And goat goes down in size. So remember that. Oh, but it smells so good and it is looking so beautiful. So 2 hours later, this is what you get. Look how beautiful. This one took 2 hours, depending on the goat. Look at that, look at that. Oh, wow. Perfect. Perfect. So tasty. So perfect. Here I had served it. This is a little fancy. You have your goat meat, your rice nice, your sauce. It's such a delicious sauce. See, it becomes this creaminess. Oh, it's so yummy. You can always add a little bit more, like right on top of the meat, just like that. See? You can add a little bit more. Mmm, delicious. So delicious. There you go. That is your goat with yellow rice. Tasty goat made with beer. I call it my drunken goat. So good. So let's see. After 2.5 hours, this one I cooked for 2.5 hours. Work that gravy in. Tasty. With this yellow rice, I have the recipe for the yellow rice coming up soon. So much flavor, so tender, so delicious. Always tasty and delicious. It's amazing. The beer, what it does to this meat is so crazy. Here I've also packed it because I'm sending my brother some. So you see, I packed it for lunch. Look how perfect. You could even freeze this. You could freeze this like a week, a month. But I mean, it'll be gone before when you remember, oh wait, I have chivo in the freezer. See, nice. That'll be for my brother. He could probably eat it tomorrow. So I packed it nicely. And that was my recipe for drunken goat stew, seco de chivo. Ecua style, Celi style. Always delicious.